Welcome back to the Uncensored 911 channel. In today's episode, I am going to bring something to your attention. Someone reached out to me and my wife and asked us to tell her story. With respect, we will be telling her story and every detail that she allows us to bring to light. This story happened in 2021. It was told by a few reporters. But the person who reached out feels that more people need to be aware of what is happening to parents. The email reads, "Hi, I have a suggestion for a 911 call with a backstory. In 2021, I got arrested and indicted for child endangerment for having my then almost 9 years old walk half a mile in our safe, suburban neighborhood. A couple of articles and a short video has come out over the years. The recent video was able to include the 911 call and the body cam footage. It sparked a lot of conversation. The reason why I'd love for this call to be featured is because parents need to know this can happen so they are prepared. Don't talk to police like I did. Ask for a lawyer. I also want state legislators and law enforcement to see the effects of a good mom getting arrested so there can be change in the justice system and legislation. I'd love to share the 911 call and body cam footage with you if you'd like. The 911 call is crazy because the woman is so concerned, yet she's also describing what he's doing like a play-by-play. He's stopping at the end of the street. Now he's looking both ways. Now he's crossing the street. There's nothing that should have caused her to think my child was in danger. And I have the body cam footage and 911 call to prove it. Unfortunately, so did the prosecutor, and it did nothing to help me. I am not the first one that this has happened to, which is heartbreaking. This week, a mom in Georgia got arrested for the same thing. Thank you for your consideration in shedding light on this topic. Here is the footage of what was sent to us. And the backstory is something that I never thought I would ever hear about.
There's a little boy walking down the sidewalk. He's a perfect target for somebody to kidnap.
Officers are on the way.
Why are you out walking by yourself?
My mom thought I needed exercise.
Does that sound reasonable to you?
For him, it does.
To have an 8-year-old get out of the car and walk by himself, you know, that's a big problem. Okay, because we don't know who's in that white van. Put your hands behind your back for me.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
You have a lot of crazy people out here. I don't trust my child with out of range about 20 or 30 feet from me. You may end up going to jail.
Okay.
For endangering a child.
Okay.
Okay. So that being said, put your hands behind your back for me.
Okay.
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 They said it's stupid because, it's a really safe neighborhood and kids play all the time.
This backstory is about total government overreach. In my personal opinion, this mother and her family should have never even gone through this mess. Here is the backstory. What does it take for a parent to get arrested? Surprisingly, very little. Scott and Heather Wallace of Hewitt, Texas, encouraged their 3 boys to play outside on their own to build independence. One day, while driving home from karate practice, 8-year-old Aiden misbehaved. So, half a mile from home, Heather stopped the car and told him, "Walk the rest of the way on your own." He'd done it before. But this time, before he got home, a woman who lives a block away from their home called the police. Police picked Aiden up and drove him home. 2 patrol cars responded, and a few minutes later, officers from the Waco Police Department knocked on the door and questioned her at length on her porch while Aiden remained in the back of the cruiser. She says the officer asked her prying questions about why her house was so messy. A caseworker from Texas Child Protective Services arrived and grilled her about her parenting habits while she was still handcuffed in the back of the cruiser. It's true. Based on data from the FBI, their town is among the safest in Texas. Nevertheless, the cops arrested Heather. They kept her in jail overnight. Mrs. Wallace's husband Scott posted her $300 bail the next day. Local prosecutors indicted Heather, claiming she placed her son in imminent danger of death and acted against the peace and dignity of the state. When her employer heard that, Heather lost her job. After her release, Child Services forced the parents to agree to a safety plan, which meant they were not allowed to be alone with the children. The children's grandmothers took turns spending the night at their home for the next 2 weeks until the order was lifted. Good thing officials weren't this obsessed with stranger danger when I was a kid. I walked everywhere when I was a kid. What's changed is media hysteria. Any dramatic incident, anywhere, appears instantly on our phones. Frightened, gullible, math-illiterate officials say, better safe than sorry. Now Scott and Heather say that too. Heather, who is a qualified teacher and child sleep therapist, faced up to 20 years in prison if convicted of the second-degree felony charge. Rather than risk jail time, Mrs. Wallace said she admitted to the offense and carried out a community service program at an early childhood center. She was forbidden from being there during weekdays when children were around, and instead worked weekends, carrying out cleaning duties and helping to develop the school curriculum. She also had to undergo random drug testing and was forced to leave her children alone to travel to testing centers. She was forced to resign from her job and is now barred from working with children. She and husband Scott have sold their family home to cover legal and medical bills, and both have sought treatment for stress as a result of the incident. I guess teaching your children independence and being a latchkey kid is now out of the question in today's society. How sad.